you are seeing this, today is day 6. I'm in my Sprinter van, my Mercedes Sprinter van. So I'm not in a Mercedes Sprinter van, but I want to be. So I am doing what, kids? Speaking those things
as though they were.
No, I'm speaking those things that be not as though they were. If you are in the future and you are watching this now, you are like, oh snap, she's in a Mercedes Sprinter van. She spoke it into existence. Exactly. I'm starting with a roll of butcher paper that I'm going to use to make my pattern. You can use any type of paper, but I prefer this large butcher roll of paper, and I'll leave the link to this in the description box below. I'm starting by tracing one side of my pants. This is for the back leg, and I did this by just folding the pants directly in half. There's going to be a back leg and a front leg, a back side and a front side of the leg. So that was the back side, and this is the front. You see the curve is just a little bit different. This is the front here. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of extra room here, and I added about 1.5 inches on each side, and that is so I can fold it over and add the elastic. That's for my elastic casing. And I'm just labeling this so that when I put it with my stack of patterns, I know what it is. I'm just going to cut the 2 halves out. And now I'm just taping them together to make one pant leg. And you can see now I can just fold it over, and that's going to make one leg. Next, I'm just cutting out the pajama top, and I'm using a t-shirt that fits Miracle well. In order to do this, you're just going to get clothes that fit the way that you want them to fit. Very simple clothes. So you'll see this is just a simple long sleeve tee, and what I used for the pants was just a pair of leggings. Now I'm just tracing out the front part of the top. And cutting that out. And now I'm cutting out an identical piece that I'm going to use for the back. Now with the front piece, it's going to dip down. The neckline is going to dip down just a little bit more, so that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm just tracing out the arms. Arms can be a little bit tricky to trace, but I kind of know how arm patterns look, so it wasn't too hard for me, but just be careful when you are cutting your arm. Your arm pattern should look something like this. So now I've got my sleeve, my pants, a front and a back. So for these pajamas, you're going to want to use a 4-way stretch material, and I got this on the remnant rack at the fabric store, and it only costs maybe about $5. So you're going to cut out 2 legs, 2 arms, and also the wristbands. For the wrist and ankle bands, I measured Miracle's wrist and ankles to see what would comfortably fit, and then I cut out the pattern for that. Once you have your 2 legs cut, you're just going to fold them over and sew down the leg as I've done here. Next, you're going to turn one leg inside out, put the pants legs together, right side facing right side, and then you're going to sew along the crotch and along the crotch area. For this tutorial, I'm using a serger, but if you don't have a serger, just use a zigzag stitch and it'll come out the exact same. It's important to match the seams together here in the crotch. Is that what it's called, a crotch? Is there a better word? What is this called? Once you have that stitch, then when you turn it right side out, you will see that the pants are pretty much together. Next, I'm going to add the ankle bands just by folding the fabric over in half, stitching down the side. and then folding it over, and you'll see that makes a cute little ankle band. And we're just going to stitch that to the bottom also, to the pant leg. When you flip it down, you'll see that it came out perfectly. So we're gonna just flip these pants inside out again so that we can add elastic to the waistband. I folded the fabric down about 1.25 inches, and I used my ruler to make sure that I was doing it evenly all the way around. I even put a little tag in the back for Miracle so that she would know which side was the front and which side was the back, and I left an opening there so that I can put the elastic through. In future tutorials, we're going to do how to add your logo to the tags. If you are looking for an elastic puller like this one, I'll leave the link in the description box below so that you can pick one up. And now I'm just taking both ends of the elastic and sewing them together. This is the top of the bodice, so I'm sewing the front and the back pieces together right at the shoulder, and then down the side. I'll stitch right down the side there, and you see I have done that. Now I'm going to get my sleeves ready, and so you're just going to fold them in half and stitch right down the side. Once your sleeves are done, you're going to fold them right side out. And just like we did on the leg, we're going to add our wristbands the same way that we added the ankle band. And then right side to right side, we're going to insert the sleeve into the armhole and stitch all the way around. So now we're almost done. We just have a couple more things to do, and the next thing is to add the neckline. So I just cut a strip of, I believe the strip was 1 inch. It was 1.25 inches, 1.25 inches, and you're just going to measure around your child's neckline or around the neckline of the shirt that you're outlining. Make sure it's big enough for their head to go in. That's what I'm doing right there. And then sew it down the one side and flip it over, similar to how we did the wrist and ankle bands. Except for now, you're going to sew it around the neckline. And remember, make sure you're using a zigzag stitch or the serger. So look how awesome that came out. It looks really clean, and I put a tag there too so she would know which side was the back. And lastly, we just need to hem along the bottom of the shirt. And I just did that by folding it over just a little bit, maybe 1/2 inch, and then used a zigzag stitch. And here's how it came out. These are so adorable. Miracle loves these pajamas. They fit so comfy, and I was super happy because Mickey Mouse pajamas are expensive, but these cost me about $5. Well, they're not super expensive, but you know, if you shop at the Disney store, they cost more than $5. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you try this. Send me a picture on Instagram or Facebook.